Hi, everyone. I'm Sam Wilson Jr., and this is the Black Soul Music Experience Podcast, the music podcast on where I interview singers and musicians from genres of black music: gospel, jazz, blues, old school classic soul, old school hip hop, today's hip hop and R&B, Caribbean, Latin, Afrobeat, Afro-Latina, blue-eyed soul, disco, go-go, line dances, and the Lost 45s. So come with me as I take you on to a trip to the destination genre of black music right now on the Black Soul Music Experience Podcast. Legal Shield is a proud sponsor of the Black Soul Music Experience Podcast. Have you been involved in any types of accidents? Have you been a victim of identity theft? Have you been a victim of a computer fraud scam? Have you been in disputes with your tenants or landlords? If your loved one dies and they didn't write up a will for you or for your family, or you and your spouse are filing for divorce, or if you need help by opening up your small business, give Legal Shield a try. Visit their website at LegalShield.com and tell them you heard it here on the Black Soul Music Experience Podcast. Do it today. You'll be glad you did. Welcome to the Black Soul Music Experience. I'm Sam Wilson Jr., and I have a special guest on my show. And this lady that I'm about to introduce is my paternal cousin, representing the Middleton Bellinger Harper family. And she is a musician and a member of the Recording Academy. And we're going to be talking about our recap from the 68th Annual Grammy Awards, which was aired on Sunday, February 1st on CBS and streaming on Paramount Plus. So we're going to talk about the takeaways from the Grammy Awards, who was the best singer, who've gotten the best awards, and who was wearing the best dress, who was wearing the unexpected dress, and what was some of the catches from the Grammy telecast. And I'm very delighted that she's back on my show. So please help me welcome back to the Black Soul Music Experience podcast, my paternal cousin representing the Middleton Bellinger Harper family. Her name is Tammy Harper. Hey, cuz, how are you?
Hey guys, thank you so much. What a lovely welcome. And Sam, I'm so excited to talk to you today because the Grammys is my favorite event to watch on TV every year.
Mhm.
And now that I'm a member or a professional member to be specific of the Recording Academy, it's an extra special honor. So thank you so much for bringing me back on your show.
Yes, it's always a pleasure because since I'm no longer working at CBS or Paramount Skydance Media, which I've been there for 35 years. So, in case you may not know, the Grammys was originally aired on ABC back in the 60s and 70s until 1973. And then in 1974, it moved to CBS. And I remember when it came on late Saturday night at 10 p.m., 9 p.m. Central. And it
Wow.
didn't go off until like 12:30 late Saturday night, early Sunday morning. So I got a chance to stay up and see everything. So this may be the last telecast of the Grammys when they leave CBS. So I don't know if they're going to
I don't know where it's
NBC,
going either.
or I don't know if they're moving to NBC or go back to ABC. And you never know. They probably may stream it on YouTube. So you never know. So we're going to talk about everything a little bit later on in this
Okay.
episode. So, as always, we're going to have a little recap on what took place on the 68th Annual Grammy Awards. Now, what were some of the performances that you liked on the 68th Annual Grammy Awards? Who were some of your favorites?
I would say the tribute to D'Angelo, Angie Stone, Roy Ayers, Dwayne Wiggins. I hope I'm not forgetting anyone. But that tribute that Lauren Hill led Oh my gosh, it was great. Person after person came. Then when Bilal sang Untitled, How Does It Feel? October London came out there and sang. Raphael Wiggins, or Raphael Sadiq, I should say. He came out there and sang. Of course, Lauren was singing, Roberta Flack, also dedicated to her when Lauren was singing uh strumming my pain with his fingers. Oh, it was
One
great.
time.
And then Wyclef came out. He had like a super dope outfit on. And that was probably one of my favorites of the night because it was so impactful. Because first you're like, how come they're not mentioning how, you can't help it, but like, why are they not mentioning? Then all of a sudden, you see all these different things. You can see there was like a country tribute, there was like a rock tribute, there was, I guess, our soul tribute. That was my favorite of the whole night. I really like Lady Gaga. I really liked because she plays the keys, she sings like me, she's her own kind of person, and yeah, I really liked her. I like Bruno Mars. He did the first one with the girl Rose, but the one he did by himself, his new song off his new album, I really like Bruno Mars. There's a young lady who is best new artist who won. Oh, I can't remember what she won, but
I think it
she
was
played the
I think it
piano.
was yeah, Lola. Let me. I think I wrote it down.
Yes,
Lola Young from the UK, and she
yes, she was
almost sounds
really
like
good.
Amy Winehouse.
She sounded really good. I liked her performance. Just it was very short on the piano and very matter of fact. Um, and there may be some others I'm forgetting, but those were my big. Oh, I Tyler the Creator. I like him a lot, so I really liked his performance. And even Sabrina Carpenter, how she was like a, you know, not a stewardess, like a flight attendant, and all her dancers were men, like in the belly of an airplane, and from all walks of life, the dancers and stuff like that. I like that too.
Yeah, well, same thing here. When I saw the opening, Bruno Mars and newcomer K-pop singer Rose, that I liked about that also. And you mentioned his new song. I already downloaded the song from
I
iTunes,
like
and
it
I also
too.
saw the music video from YouTube as well. So those were some of my takeaways. And also Sabrina Carpenter when she had her stage and
Hmm.
everything. And we gotta mention Olivia Dean.
Oh
She's
yeah,
one of the newcomers from the
she
UK.
won best new artist, and it's so funny because she's huge and large and everything. This is one of the few times that the person who won that I didn't really know their song or didn't really, for the first time in a long time. Even if it was like remember when Samara Joy, I may not have known her hit songs, but I knew her voice. I'd heard her many times, and of course when Bad Bunny won for album of the year. We can talk about that later, but I was really excited about that too. We'll talk about that later.
Hmm. And you also mentioned Lady Gaga. When I saw her perform, I was like, what the heck is she wearing? Like
Yeah, on her head.
unexpected dress. I'm
It was
like,
like she was
oh
it was like
man.
she was a bird in a cage, kinda. With
Oh, a
feathers
bird in
and
a
that casing
cage.
on his head or her head. I didn't know what that was, but she was jamming out and those cool keyboards she has because I want to get a new keyboard. I want to treat myself this year to a new keyboard. And so when I see hers, I was getting excited. 'Cause that's what I want to do for myself. I haven't bought a brand new keyboard since 1997. So I think I'm due. You know what I mean? I've had
Mhm.
ones that were used or gifts given to me, but
Uh-huh.
not a brand new one like in 97. Because you just hear those
Right.
sounds and you get excited about writing. Like I have some albums I want to write. And that's another thing I get
Yeah.
excited about watching the Grammys is the possibilities, especially when you see people that that won, whether it
Hmm.
was this year or another year, it's exciting. It shows that it's possible for me too.
Yeah, because every time I see Lady Gaga, you never know what she's going to be wearing next. So when she came on the scene in 2006, she was wearing those sunglasses. And every time I see her in a music video, she'll be dressing up unexpectedly. And when I see her, not only the Grammys, but also on the MTV VMAs, she'll be wearing like something to cover up her face. Like, Come on, girl. We don't want to see that stuff.
Been
Open
around so
up.
long, right? And then she got a nose job too, which I'm sure that's just what to make her be happier. But she has a new man, and she shouted him out when she won her Grammy. She won a few, at least two. I
Hmm.
can't remember if she won two or three
Hmm.
this year. But yeah, I like her a lot.
Yes. And speaking of that, I think Kendrick Lamar was nominated for 9 awards, and I think he won two. But he was wearing his tux. That was the
Yes,
first
it was
time
a
I
nice
seen him.
surprise. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what changed because I don't remember him ever dressing up. So something changed or something clicked. Maybe it was, you know, I don't know. Sometimes when you start growing and getting older, then you
Hmm.
decide it's a decision. Because I even saw
Right.
something when, like Justin Bieber, his performance
Hmm.
was fine, but I heard or in some article that that was a last minute choice to wear his boxer shorts or shorts and go out there. That wasn't
Hmm.
like pre planned.
Right. Because he won a song, it was called and, dedicated to Luther Vandross. So I think that was the takeaway from it, along with SZA, who
Yeah,
had
that was
the
beautiful. I
duet.
love that song. I love when I hear a song the first time and I love it. And that's how I felt about Luther. It's like, how
Hmm.
can you not? It was just so beautiful. And then to do Soundwave, that was a producer. He was there, and they talked about, getting the sample clearance and how they couldn't curse. And, it is a beautiful thing when you have an idea and then you can put it into fruition. So I was happy for him too.
Hmm. Now, there was something new on the Grammys, and they added Best Traditional Country, Best Album Cover, and I just found out that Judge Katanji Brown Jackson was nominated for a Grammy. I was like, what? She
Yeah,
was there, got
yeah,
nominated
when they
for a
showed
Grammy?
her, yeah, I mean, she didn't win because I looked at all the list of winners, but she must have did a spoken word book or something. I'm trying to remember what it was. Do you remember what it was?
I think it was either a spoken word or some audible thing because they were
Ooh.
adding something new at the Grammys.
They
We
added
all
like
know
two or
about.
three categories. They added like the African song or best
Hmm.
African or Afro beats or something, and like you said, the album cover. And you know who won for that? That was Tyler the Creator. He won best album
Oh.
cover, and
Mm.
it was another one, well, like you said. And then I also love what Jelly Roll said when he kept praising Jesus and everything. I thought that
Hmm.
was great. That made me really
Yeah.
happy,
Yeah.
because you don't have to say anything about the Lord. So when you do, it's a great, great, great thing.
Hmm. Yes. And I know Doji, well, I think she was nominated for 5
Hmm.
Grammys.
And she got
So,
hers from Anxiety. She got
uh-huh.
best music video for Anxiety,
Oh.
which I still haven't even seen. Yeah, she was
Hmm.
nominated. Judge Katanji Jackson was nominated for Best Audiobook Narration and Storytelling Recording for her memoir.
Oh.
Wow. That's a big
Wow.
deal.
Because every time when I watch the Grammys, they'll always add something. And I'll give you, for example, back then they would add Best Comedy Recording. So we know that Richard Pryor and Whoopi
Hmm.
Goldberg, they were Grammy winners for Best Comedy Album. And then recently, you had the Muppets, because I remember the Muppets. I was watching the Grammys back in March of 1976. They added children's recording, and yes, the Muppets, Bert and Ernie from
Hmm.
Sesame Street, they performed on the Grammys, and they were nominated for a Grammy for Best Children's Recording. And then 1978, when they were celebrating its 20th annual, they added gospel music on the category, and I saw the Reverend James Cleveland performed, and he won a Grammy for that night too. So this was
Oh, I
something
do.
new.
Excuse me a second. I do have a little known fact. Candy Staten was nominated for her first Grammy for Best Gospel this year
Uh huh.
because her son plays at my sister's church. So Candy stayed in.
Mm.
So can you imagine? Like I think she might be 80 years old or something close to that, and was nominated. She didn't win, but what a big deal.
Uh-huh. Wow. So I know she's one of our legends. And speaking of that, Shaka Khan and Carlos Santana and Cher, they received their Grammy Lifetime Achievement Award.
Mhm.
Now, did you see Cher doing like the
I
album or
did.
song of the year, and then she messed up on who did something?
That was funny. And the man who was the executive producer, he was like, he was so glad that she wasn't really flustered by it.
Hmm.
Obviously she was supposed to stay out there and everything, but he said she just kind of laughed it off and she was okay with it. And luckily she just went back. Like Trevor Noah apparently heard in his earphone, like, tell Cher to go back out there. When she comes backstage, and then when she said the winner is Luther Vandross, I was like, that's funny. Um, someone who's deceased. But it was great comedy relief, definitely.
Hmm. Yes. And also, there were some other winners before the telecast. And I was looking at my Facebook homepage the next day. I see that Shabuzi won for,
Hmm.
for country, and also the legendary Joni Mitchell. You know, I still love her song, which was later a sample from for Janet
This
Jackson
woman,
and Q-Tip.
oh, that one, yes. And
Because the name of the song was called Big Yellow Taxi. I thought it was Good Until You Got Till It's Gone. And I thought that was the name of the song, but it originally was called Big Yellow
I didn't
Taxi.
know the original name either. And it was cool when I went to the Grammys in 24, she came out. Like I was so close in that first ceremony. I was like in the fifth row and she wheeled out. And I was like, oh my God, Tony Mitchell's like right there. The Blind Boys of Alabama, right there. Like certain people like right there. Kirk Franklin, right there, you know. Um, so that's why for me, even though I probably won't go back until 27, that was one of the greatest days of my
Uh-huh.
life. Like just to see all the living legends that you could up close. That
Hmm.
first ceremony I was close. The second one I was far away for the televised ceremony.
Hmm. And also, we got to mention jazz singer Samara Joy. She won a Grammy. That was during the pre
Yes.
telecast.
I love her. Her voice is so unique. She's so mature and poised. And, when she won, did she win Best New Artist? I think that's what it was, like a year or two ago.
It was a year or two ago, and she's from the Boogie Down Bronx, New York.
What? I didn't
Hmm.
know that. I
Yep.
like her a lot. So talented. And you know who also, you may be bringing this up later, but the Dalai Lama won the audiobook. He's the one that beat out Judge Ketanji Jackson. Can you
Oh,
believe that?
okay.
So he won for that best audiobook narration and storytelling. So that's probably a first for
Mm.
the Dalai Lama.
Uh-huh. Yeah. And the heavy hitters for that night was Bad Bunny
Oh
and
yes, I can't wait till he performs at the Super Bowl. It's so funny. I've seen memes where someone's like, it's like a cat with a dress going like this, like learning how to do my moves for the Super Bowl, or it's a man showing how you can, like for those who don't speak Spanish, the man he's like singing it in Spanish and has the English subtitles, like trying to learn
mhm,
Spanish by Sunday. um, that's me too. Like one of my little students, he came here singing a Portuguese song the other day. I was like,
uh-huh.
we got to catch up. You know what I mean? Like, we got to catch up for Spanish and Portuguese. Like, I speak some French, but I don't really know Spanish and Portuguese.
Yes. And also, I don't want to leave out uh, Lola Young, where she won for a Grammy, but
Hmm.
she almost said the F word. I was like, oh.
Yeah, because
You
you can
know,
say it on the YouTube one, the early ceremony, people cursed, but not on national television. Mm-mm.
right. Because down through the years, I remember back in 1994 when the
Mm-hmm.
Grammy Awards was at Radio City Music Hall in the NYC, when I saw Bono of U2 got the Grammy, and he also said the up where it was live. And
And
then
now they have
when,
the preempting or
mhm,
whatever you call it.
yeah, and then when Frank Sinatra received his Lifetime Grammy Achievement Award, and then when the music started playing, going to commercial break, I say, "Yo, let the man finish his speech. This
Mm-hmm.
is a legend we're talking about. He got his due, so let him finish." And then when Billy Joel came out, said, "This is for the makeup time that you have to go to commercial," and then all and then everything. So that was some of the one of the times back in 1994. But I was switching back and forth because I was watching the Roseanne episode, and then I switched back to the Grammy
Oh,
Awards. So that was the night back in 1994. But we don't want to leave out Billie Eilish.
oh
She
yes,
won
her
for
song, that
Song of the
Wildflower
Year.
song. That song is really good. I had to go listen. She's so talented to be so young. She and her bro, Phineas. Oh my gosh. Like I still love her song. Everything I wanted. I had a dream. I had everything I wanted. Oh, long as you're here. Oh my goodness. That
Yeah.
song. That'll put you into tears. But they won a gazillion
Wow.
awards between the two of them.
Hmm. Yeah, because when I first saw this young lady make her debut LP is entitled "When We Sleep, When Will We Fall Over." That album scared the living daylights out of me, especially her music videos. And when her first album came, I was like, but then when her second album came, I was like, ah, now
Yeah,
she's
she's
up to date with.
okay.
Hmm.
And that
And
Wildflower song
and
just one.
yeah, and let me tell you, her wardrobe is at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame Museum in Cleveland, Ohio, and I first saw it back in 2021, and she was wearing that yellow wardrobe thing with a X on it, and I was like, "Whoa,
Yeah, that's what she kept calling
everything!"
her hair all the time.
Uh-huh. Now, there were some other best new artists that I have liked, including Sombr, that's Sombr, um, representing, I think it was Mexico or Brazil. And he almost sounded like Enrique Iglesias.
Okay.
And I liked him too. And also all the other awards and the performances too, and also the memoriam that they do it in different
Yeah, it was
parts.
beautiful.
And guess what? They got everybody that had passed away. So down through the years, if they left someone out, they always complaining. It's like, for example, when they left out Natalie Cole for the memoriam, and all the families were upset. And when they did the tribute to Tony Bennett and others, and they left out Harry Belafonte, the whole family was all
Oh.
complaining. But
Well, you
now
know what?
the
Part of it is with Harvey Mason being the chair of the Recording
hmm
Academy. He's probably has an
hmm
eye on being inclusive too. You know, I don't know how long he's been the chair, but at least 3 or 4 or 5 years. Um,
hmm
and I think sometimes when you have a leader, I'm not saying you have to have a leader of color, but sometimes it does make a difference to making sure things are inclusive.
hmm yes. Speaking of that, I was looking at something on Monday on my Facebook homepage. Isaac Hayes the third, he watched it, but he jot down some notes, and he says, and I quote, that the Grammy Awards are the LA Awards. It's not dealing with hip hop and R&B, because every year when I watch the Grammys, it's mostly heavily on the R&B, and hip hop came in later. So the heavy hitters back then was Stevie Wonder and Aretha Franklin. And then during the later years, Natalie Cole. And then by 1978, it was up against Marvin Gaye and Lou Rawls. So we saw that Lou Rawls won. And then as the 80s came in, it was more heavily R&B. So you had Lionel Richie one, and you also
Of course,
had
Michael Jackson,
other nominees.
pop for sure.
Yes, Michael Jackson have won like eight
And then of
Grammys,
course Prince
and that.
too.
Mm-hmm. And Tina Turner, for that
Mhm.
Grammy, and all the others, and Whitney Houston too for Best New Artist, and of course, hip hop, got its dues, but not like what happened in 1989 when they boycotted because they wanted to perform
Yeah.
on the Grammys. Not like it was, because like I said earlier, when you have those Grammys, you never know what's going to be on first, because that's the main attraction on on every award show. So I mentioned Stevie, I mentioned Aretha, and the Spinners, even though they never won a Grammy and never
Mhm.
got inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame back then, but now they got their props. They're inducted into the Hall of Fame as well. And Roberta Flack, when she was up against Millie Jackson for and other artists,
Mhm.
and when I compare that to some of the other um, Grammy Awards that they had, like for example, when they had the 60th annual Grammy Awards back in 2018, I thought they was going to do some clips of, from the previous awards from the past, but they were using that platform for the Me Too movement. And then
Oh.
you had all of the female artists. Um, they had to say what they had to say. And what took place on the Grammys on February 1st, all the singers had to say what they had to say with Ice. And it's no stranger because every artist will say something, whether it's dealing
Mhm.
with ICE or dealing with apartheid in South Africa or anything that has to deal with Israel, Palestine, and Gaza. So every Grammy Award singer will have a right to say something. And that's what's called freedom of speech. And any song that they will write, whether it's something controversial or if it's coming from today's headlines, because music play a part in everything, whether
Mhm.
it's dealing with social issues, where they will do a song on abuse or domestic violence, or either what happened in 1984 when Reagan was president, reelected, dealing with Africa famine relief, and then homeless, and then the AIDS crisis. Any singer will write down something on their heart and what have America and the world pay close attention.
Mhm.
So with Stevie Wonder, he'll write down anything. When he did the Innovisions LP, he had three songs that was all social issues. That was Living for the City, that was dealing with systematic racism, and then Higher Ground. We're talking about what's been going on in the world. And another song that wasn't a hit, Too High. That was
Too
dealing with drug
high.
addiction.
Oh, that was a great song.
Hmm.
I forgot about that. Oh yes.
Yeah, that was that intro. Yeah, I like that. And yes, we got a hold of everything. We talked about the memoriam. That was the one that I like. Everybody has gotten their dues because every time when I do my season finale, I always do tributes honoring all of our singers and musicians that have passed away.
Yeah.
So if any singer that passes away after I do my season finale, I will add that singer on to the next season and will always get their props. So
Mhm.
anyway, now let's talk about your Atlanta chapter for their Grammy chapter. Did they had any nominees or anybody who was attending the
They had,
Grammys?
yeah, they had a lot of how should I say? So just to give you like a little inside scoop, every year it's at we have a venue called Center Stage. and the loft and vinyl. So center stage is the largest, then the loft is the next, and then the vinyl is the smallest. So it's usually at the loft. And on the one side, they have like people who are chefs and cooks, and they have their food samples. So that's good on the one side. And then they have the bar, get something to drink. Then they have the step and repeat over here. Then there's a large space, and that's where they have a stage. They always have a cool Grammy looking, like a big Grammy with like flowers or with whatever on the stage. This is only my second time going to this party because I must have missed it last year. But um, the first time I went, Money Long performed. So that was like her first time, and she only had like one hit song. And her manager, Shaka Zulu, I know. So I happened to be standing next to him, and he's like, "My artist is going up there," and I couldn't hear who he said. And then she went up there. I was like, "Oh my gosh, Money Long!" Also, Killer Mike performed, and that was the year that he won all three. He swept the categories, so he performed as well. That was dope. Um, and that's pretty much, you're just talking to people and there's performances. But this year, the focus was on, um, it was more so, well, Avery Sunshine. I told you she won her first Grammy last year in 25, and she and the president of the chapter, they were like kind of at a podium just acknowledging people and stuff like that, and they had a DJ that was spinning, but they also are trying to fundraise for Grammy Camp. So apparently this is the first time that they're having Grammy Camp and for young people to go. So they were looking for us to donate towards that. I wish I had more information about it, but that's cool. So Grammy Camp is coming. Oh, I forgot to mention this too. So this is my second year being a Grammy U mentor. So Grammy U, I think these are students maybe, or some, they could be students or not, maybe from like 17, 18 to 30. And,
Mm-hmm.
you could apply to be a mentor, which I did. So my mentee last year, her name is Somalia, a vocalist, also my Spelman sis. And this year is Charles, and he's a senior at Morehouse. He plays trumpet. And so I brought him as my guest to that Grammy celebration for our Atlanta chapter. He had a great time, and it was cool. And then his mentor from before was Queen Sheba, and Queen Sheba was nominated again when I went in 24. She was nominated. She was nominated again this time. She didn't win, but it was cool to see her and that she was his mentor, and just to expose him, because I'm like, as a young person, it's cool to be able to go and do certain things involved with the Grammy. So I think he said this is his third year in Grammy U,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm not sure who his third mentor was, but yeah, so we had a fun time. But that's usually what happens there. And then the two ladies that manage the Atlanta office, which is Michelle and, oh my gosh, Aaron, and they were there, so I took pictures with them too. But yeah, it was a great night.
Wow. Now, as I mentioned earlier, Isaac Hayes III had made comments about the Grammys and about the voting thing. It was like either be heavy on the R&B and hip hop, and then he wants to see like either instead of 1,500 votes to 21 voters. Now that we see about the future of the Grammys, and yes, the Grammys could be its last time being on CBS, may either go to another network or going on to the internet. What do you see in the future of the Grammys in dealing with voting?
Well, I mean, technically, to be a voting member, you have to be someone who's had a certain number of recordings. So, like someone like me, I may have one or two recordings, so I don't have enough. That's why I applied to be a professional member. So, when I did my application was all the things that I've done musically. And then the voting members, so if you have X number, let's say it's 12, can't remember the exact number. Let's say you have 12 recordings within the last 5 years, you can apply to be a voting member. And I will say, so let's say you become one. What I usually see first is in the Billboard magazine, you see all these ads that say, for your consideration. So people
Mhm.
are paying money for consideration for ads like in Billboard and other places, or going on even social media, just saying, hey, for your consideration, I'm submitted, or I'm a nominee or whatever the case may be, for that. And so the voting members, I mean, it says it's 15,000 voting members, and they're the ones that are picking. So, I don't know that process. Like if they send you the audios of the song and you listen, and then I have no idea since I'm not a voting member. But I would say for the future of the Grammys, still the stuff like behind the scene for the Recording Academy, we have Music Cares. So that's for people, whether you had something like, fire or, rental assistance or anything like that, mental health, Music Cares, resources like that. Then there's also advocacy. So once a year, there's a day that you go down to the Capitol all over the country. You're going down to the Capitol for advocacy for musicians. Sometimes, it has to do with sampling or has to do with AI or has to do with whatever that case may be. That's another important part. So you also have Grammy U, which I just mentioned, that helps the younger people. Um, and then we also have different wings. Like there's like a producers and engineering wing. There's a songwriters wing. I feel like there's one more that I'm forgetting. So you could also be a part of that too. Like one day I would love to be a governor. That's something you kind of work your way up and they vote for you to be a governor. And then the highest one, I think above that is a national trustee. So I do know one person who's a national trustee, and I know maybe two or three that are governors for our Atlanta chapter, but they still happen to be national. So that's kind of in terms of the future, just really keeping an eye on everything in this music industry. Probably still adding categories. They'll ask us sometimes, do you have any suggestions for categories? They'll probably add one or two or three every year. And then, like we said, since it's leaving CBS, where is it going to go to be aired? Is it going to be on a streaming platform like Netflix or Paramount or wherever, Prime? Who knows? So that'd be interesting to see too. Um, yeah, I think that's all for the future. I think.
Yeah, because I know there's going to be some more diversity in the Recording Academy. And I'm just praying that, anyone who represents, you see a lot of heavily representation for the African
Mhm,
American community, and one for the Latino community, and one for the
mhm,
Native American community, and for the LGBTQ community. And you never know. They may have someone with disabilities. You never know.
mhm.
I always think about that Tony Award when that lady was in that wheelchair, um, won for Best Tony, and she was in that wheelchair. So you never know, someone out there who may have disabilities or in that wheelchair, and they say, I want to be just like that.
That's right.
So you never know. You
Hmm.
never know. Yes. Now, here's a question I always ask my guests. Living or dead, which artist that you wish you wanted to meet? You mentioned Killer Mike, you mentioned some other artists, but which one did you really, really, really want to meet?
That would be Stevie Wonder. I've never met him. I've only seen him in concert from far, far away. I have friends who have played with him and know him, but he's my number one in terms of a musician that I would love to meet. Now, of course, I would now Quincy Jones. Now he's rest in peace, but Quincy Jones would have been one. This is someone who I just love. Tony Bennett, rest in peace. Shaka Khan. I feel like I'm one person away from Shaka Khan, which I am. My friend Trina Broussard is one of her background singers, and also another friend of mine knows her. So I'm one person away. That feels a little more realistic than Stevie. I wouldn't mind meeting Babyface for all his songwriting, um, and it'd be cool to meet Alicia Keys because we both play the keys and sing. And I did go see Hell's Kitchen this summer on Broadway. It was great. I have the coffee table book that someone gave me for my birthday, but I really enjoyed it a lot. And another person I love to meet, a more contemporary of mine, would be Adam Blackstone. He plays bass. He's been a music director for people like Justin Timberlake, but he's also been a music director for events like the Oscars and other big
Mhm.
things like that, or Super Bowl, things like that. I met him this summer at the Blue Note, where I went for the first time. I went to see him perform, and so nice and so talented. And I think he's from like Philly or Jersey, somewhere up top, like where I'm from. And there's probably
Mhm.
other people, but like on the top of my head, I mean, there's it'd be cool to meet, like, of course, if they were still alive, that would have been Prince, but did not get a chance to meet him either.
Mhm. All right. Now, here on the Black Soul Music Experience, I always ask my guests who was the top 10 R&B black artists of all time. But since this is a special episode, as we recap the Grammys, I'm going to do my special presentation of the Black Soul Music Experience greatest Grammy winners of all times, either if they won one Grammy or two or 10 or 20. So I'm going to do my uh, I'm gonna add my little top 20. But I gotta give a shout out to those because these are the singers that I like. And I'm gonna start off with number 21. I had to put Crystal Gale on there. When I first saw her at the 20th annual Grammy Awards back in February of 1978, when it was at 9 o'clock p.m. earlier, Crystal Gale won for Best New Artist in Country Music with her song Don't It Make My Brown Eyes Blue.
That was a
It's a
great
little
song.
country jazz in it. And that's the one that I like. But I didn't know that Crystal Gale was the sister of Loretta Lynn. That I didn't know.
Oh,
So when she first came on this thing, she's best known for her long hair all the way down to her kneecap. So that was Crystal Gale. So I had her put her down at 21. And number 20, Lou Rawls, when he won his Grammy at the 20th Annual Grammy Awards. This
mm,
is his first time winning a Grammy. So that was the Lou Rawls that we knew back
yeah.
then. So rest in peace to the one and only Lou Rawls.
Hmm.
And Marvin Gaye, he only won a Grammy. He was nominated back in 1978, but he won 1983. It was his night, and this was his first time, and it was the last time. He'd been waiting for 20 years to win a Grammy Award for his song "Sexual Healing." It was
Oh,
number one on Billboard's R&B Black Singles charts from his LP "Midnight Love," released on the Columbia CBS label for 10 weeks,
wow.
10 straight weeks. So he got his props. So rest in peace to the great Marvin Gaye.
Yes.
And I had to put down Thelma Houston. She won a Grammy for her song, the remake of Harold Melvin and the Blue Notes, Don't Leave Me This Way.
Hmm.
And yes, she won a Grammy for that. I had to put her down. And the late Barry White, the one that I knew, he was nominated for Best New Artist. It was back in the 1974 Grammy Awards, and he won in 1999 for Best Traditional um, R&B recording. So rest in peace to the maestro, the late
Yeah.
Barry White. And number 15, I have put down The Fifth Dimension. They have won 2 Grammys, one for their song Up, Up and Away, my beautiful balloon. And the other one, Let the Sunshine In. And yes,
Let
so
the sun. Wait, who sang that again?
The Fifth Dimension. That's what had
Oh,
Marilyn McCoo and Billy Davis Jr.
yes.
and the late Ron Dennison and the late Lamont McLemore and Florence LaRue. So Marilyn, Billy, and Florence are still with us, even though we've lost Ron and now recently Lamont McLemore, who's also a photographer for Jet Magazine with those beauties.
Oh, beauty.
Yeah, the best beauties.
Mhm.
So he'll be known for that. So rest in peace to Lamont McLemore of the Fifth
Mhm.
Dimension. And number five, the late Donna Summer. She won a couple of Grammys back in the 70s. One
Mhm.
for that Thank God It's Friday soundtrack. And in case you may not know, I got a chance to see Donna Summer at HMV back in June of 1999.
Oh
Cause
wow.
like after work, I was online. I was getting ready to go see Ginger Spice of the Spice Girls, and then someone told me like, "Yo, Donna Summer's in town." She is? I said, "Psych! I'm going to see a legend. We'll deal with Ginger Spice later." So I went to HMV when it used to be on Fifth Avenue. I bought an LP and I still got her. She was doing that VH1 special that came on right after her VH1 Behind the Music. That was Father's Day 1999. I
Mhm.
got a chance to see her. I still got the LP with her autograph on it
That's
and
good.
everything. So rest in peace to the queen of disco, Donna Summer.
Mhm.
Number We're up to number 15. I can't keep count. But we got the Eagles. They won 6 Grammy Awards. They're known for their songs Hotel California,
Yeah.
I Can't Tell You Why, and Witchy Woman, just to name a few. And also another two more people that won 6 Grammys is the late Tito Puente and the late
Um,
Whitney Houston. So they won 6 Grammys. Number We're up to number 11, and Gladys Knight have won 7 Grammys with the Pips. And then number 10, Al Green, he won 11 Grammy Awards. And the late Natalie Cole, she won 9 Grammys. And Linda Ronstadt, the one who sings all genres, she had 10 Grammy Awards. And also Carlos Santana, he won 10, and his group Santana won 8 Grammys. Shaka Khan won also 10 Grammys. Bobby McFerrin, he won 10 Grammys. He's the one that does his voice with no instruments.
mhm.
So that was Bobby McFerrin. Ella Fitzgerald won 13 Grammys. Michael Jackson, 13 Grammys. Aretha Franklin, 18 Grammys.
Wow.
Tony Bennett, 20 Grammys. And top over number one, Stevie Wonder won 25 Grammys.
And guess what? I
So,
think Kendrick Lamar now has the most. I don't know if it's the most of any person or any rapper. I think he has 28. I may have to Google that.
28 Grammys,
Yeah,
Kendrick.
he surpassed Kendrick Lamar. Surpassed Jay Z.
Mm, good thing Jay Z wasn't there. It would be like a Jerry Springer
Uh,
fighting them
yeah,
in
that's a good.
there.
Wait,
Yeah.
Kendrick Lamar
And
22.
yes. Uh-huh. And also, I don't want to leave out these honorees, as I mentioned earlier, because the
Mhm.
Grammys is more than just music, but also spoken word. We mentioned Judge Katanji Brown Jackson, although she was nominated for Best Spoken Word, and Viola Davis also, she won, so she got an Emmy, a Grammy, an Oscar, a Tony for Best Spoken Word. And Grammy Achievement Award goes to Kenneth Gamble and Leon Huff, 1999. And of course, Richard Pryor and Whoopi Goldberg for Best Comedy Recording. So those are my favorites. So, Tammy, you have any of yours before we wrap things up?
Well, let's see. Well, if we talk about the big hitters, I mean, because even Beyonce, obviously, she's more like right now because she's been on tour and stuff. She already made Cowboy Carter. She already did Renaissance. Um, she's won a gazillion. Well deserved for her. I'm
Mhm.
happy for those up and coming like Kendrick Lamar, winning so many. He's so talented. Samara Joy for jazz, that beautiful, beautiful voice. There's another jazz artist who looks Asian named LaFay, and she won a Grammy this year. But I love the way she sounds. Tony Bennett, rest in peace. I just love him. Kirk Franklin keeps doing his thing. PJ Morton, who is the son of Bishop Paul Morton, he won a Grammy this year with a gospel album. He and another guy did a gospel album together. Tyler the Creator, I know I keep talking about him, but he's just so talented. He when he came on the scene maybe 5, 6 years, how many years ago on the MTV, did his performance wearing a blonde wig. I didn't understand. And Gab was like, "Mom, here's these," and I started listening to all his music. I'm like, it was so good. He was using like Roy Ayers, vibraphones and stuff, and using Charlie Wilson to sing on his songs. I'm like, what? So good. So I'm happy for him. And then Bad Bunny, can't leave him out because I heard that he did his concerts in Puerto Rico, made the concert ticket prices low so anybody could come, and it brought $400 million to their economy. After Puerto Rico had the devastation with the electricity, with
Hmm.
the storms, and so he
Hmm.
gets just a double. Is like his best year ever. I mean, to get album of the year, the first ever Spanish speaking album to win. Gloria Stefan did win too. She won a Grammy this year, and of course, he's our Super Bowl halftime performer. I got
Hmm.
turned on to some of his songs just because he won, so I had to go and find them. But yeah,
Hmm.
really good. So he's someone, as they call, multi hyphenate, because he was in a movie last year as well. So he's doing his
Oh, okay.
thing. Yeah, but
Right.
Stevie,
And speaking
Stevie.
of bad, yes. And speaking of Bad Bunny, he was the musical guest and guest host on NBC Saturday Night Live. And I don't want to leave out Stevie because he too was a musical and guest host on Saturday Night Live as
Mm-hmm.
well. So I don't want to leave that out. And you mentioned Beyonce and I'll have to put in Taylor Swift too, and
Yeah,
for
Taylor
everything.
just
So
killing it.
that,
All those awards. Oh
hmm
my goodness. You know. So I'm happy for them,
yes,
and I hope one day that I'll come on here. I really want to work on my albums within the next 5 years. I have like my self-titled album is probably going to be a double album. So that's going to take some time. If it has like
uh
20
huh,
songs on it, it's going to take a long time, but that's what I want to do. I want to have a legacy. So I have a few different projects, but that's one. And then get my keyboard so I can have some really new songs. Like when I hear the sounds on the board, it'll inspire me to write
uh
too.
huh. Oh, yes. Well, cousin, thank you so much for being here on the Black
Thank you
Soul Music
so much.
Experience podcast.
My
It's a pleasure
pleasure.
to have you back as we talk about the Grammy Awards, and you never know what's going to happen next in the future.
That's
We
true.
may see it on the internet or something, because if they don't have it on regular TV, then I'll look for it on YouTube, and everything. So if I don't have cable, but I do have my converter box.
Good.
And if nothing ain't on, then I'll go right on YouTube on my computer. So
Awesome.
again, thank you so much
Thank
for
you so
taking
much,
the time
Cousin
out.
Sam. Love you lots. Bye, everybody. Peace.
Okay, yes. Now before we go, where can we follow you on social media? Any
Oh, thank
projects coming
you.
up? And we'll have to put in for more information as like a read more about a campaign to learn more about the Grammys. Make sure you go to their website, visit Grammy.com, and you can check out the Grammy Museum. If you're here on the East
Yes, I
Coast, you
went
can
there
check it out
too.
at the Newark Prudential Center in Newark, New Jersey.
Oh,
And
that's
for those who live out in the West Coast, you can check it out in Los Angeles, California. And you mentioned Grammy U for those who are
for the
like
younger
taking
people,
up
like
new
17 or
courses.
18 to 30, to learn
Hmm.
more and grow. Oh, so
And also,
I was going to
yes,
say
also
for,
Music Cares.
yes,
Yes, also Music Cares. That's very important. So make sure that all of our singers are taken care of, taking care of their benefits and health wise, and mentioned some things that needed to be discussed, whether it's dealing with illness, depression, and all other things that needed to be discussed. So we don't want to leave that out because pretty soon I'm going to be interviewing some more episodes on social issues. I did one on
Okay.
domestic abuse. I did one on Emergency Preparedness Month because I didn't know. Because in September, I've interviewed one of my former CBS coworkers. I only know about hurricane season that I know.
Mm-hmm.
And you never know. There'll be some topics out there that we're going to touch base on because music play a part in social issues.
It
Whether it
does.
be a song dealing with mass shootings or what's happening with Israel, Palestine, and Gaza, or what's dealing in our black community, or what's dealing with the environment, or what's happening with voting registration, as Stevie Wonder had his song "You Haven't Done Nothing." He was spoofing on the Nixon administration, which one of them. So you never know. So any other things that I have left out before we wrap things up?
Well, unfortunately, on Instagram, I'm unable to get into my Tam Tunes account. It's been months. I'm not shutting it down. I know one day I'm going to be able to get back in. Have no idea, but that's Tam Tunes, TAM for Tammy, TUNES for Melodies, Tam Tunes. But the one I'm active on, if you ever do want to reach me, is Tam Tunes and the Gents. That is my band. I have a trio. So Tam Tunes and the Gents, GENTS, short for gentlemen. We're a three-piece R&B band. And you can also go to Tammy Harper, excuse me, right on Facebook. You can look and find me. Um, I live in Atlanta. Um, um, but thank you so much for this opportunity. It's my pleasure.
Hey, I always like to reach out to my family relatives who are in music because, like every family union that I go to, I never know who I'm gonna meet. If it's a musician or someone in the ministry or someone in the media like me, because I was a former Viacom CBS Paramount employee for 35 years, and the network will be 98 years old in March out
Wow.
of all of the madness that's been happening at the Tiffany Network. I don't want to get started, but I don't like to say it, but I have to say it. No offense to my former and present CBS co-workers that we have to go through this every single day, or should I say, as the messenger mail center turns. Just like that soap opera, as the
Yeah.
world turns.
Hmm.
But anyway, I had to throw it out there. Download all of the Grammy Award winners, all of your favorite artists from the past and present that we have talked about on this edition of the Black Soul Music Experience podcast. Visit iTunes.com, Spotify.com, or purchase a CD at Amazon.com. And to learn more about the Grammy Awards, make sure you go to Grammy.com. Make sure you check out the Grammy Museum at the Newark Prudential Center in Newark, New Jersey, and one in Los Angeles, California. And also you can go to Grammy U and also to musiccares.com. Make sure you follow my paternal cousin, Tammy Harper, on Facebook and check out everything that is coming near you. And ladies and gentlemen, if you want to check out this episode, please subscribe to the Black Soul Music Experience podcast. Look for me on these 5 platforms. I'm on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Music, iHeartRadio, and Pocket Cast. And the link is riverside.fm/studio/Samuel Wilson Jr.'s. Don't forget to add the S at the end, studio. And I will be posting this episode on Facebook, LinkedIn, and Twitter. And if you have a hard time getting on to riverside.fm, then please become a member and subscribe to patreon.com the Black Soul Music Experience Podcast. You got a computer? Put in your email address and your password and go to the Patreon homepage where you can check out all of the Patreon shows done by different creators. And make sure you go to the search box on top and type in my podcast, the Black Soul Music Experience Podcast, where you can check out all of my audio and video podcast episodes from season 4 and for this season, season 5. And you can check out all the video podcast clips that you may have missed. And if you have a hard time getting on the Patreon, then I will be posting this episode on YouTube. Go to youtube.com/the Black Soul Music Experience Podcast. All you need to do is go to the homepage and type in the Black Soul Music Experience Podcast. If you like this episode, if you love my podcast, please subscribe, please support, please give me a thumbs up, please leave a comment, and please pass it on. Thank you for joining me as I close out this edition of the Black Soul Music Experience. Well, that's about it for this edition of the Black Soul Music Experience Podcast. I'm Sam Wilson Jr. Thank you for joining me, and please tune in next week for an all-new episode. The Black Soul Music Experience Podcast is sponsored by the support of listeners and viewers like you. If you enjoyed this podcast, please subscribe to the Black Soul Music Experience Podcast. Look for my podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Music, iHeartRadio, and Pocket Cast. And don't forget the link. The link is riverside.fm/studio/Samuel-Wilson Jr.'s-studio. And don't forget to check out my audio and video podcast episodes by becoming a member and subscribe to patreon.com/the Black Soul Music Experience Podcast. And please check out my video podcast episodes by subscribing to youtube.com/the Black Soul Music Experience Podcast. And please leave your comments, feedbacks, and replies by going to my Facebook homepage. Go to facebook.com/the Black Soul Music Experience Podcast. You can also tweet me on X, aka Twitter, at Sam Wilson Jr. 66. And follow me on Instagram at SAMM.Y2980. As always, partying, remember this. Reach for the top and your dreams will come true, and it can happen to you. From all of us, take care. God bless. Thanks for listening. Have a good week, and please be safe.